Senator Gordon, with the permission of the chair, and if there is no procedure in terms of, I understand it's a free willing.
Yes, Mr.
So,
Senator Gordon.
may I, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, I think that we're discussing this round and round because I think hindi pa natin nasasabi kung anong vision natin eh. When you say ROTC, I was in the ROTC, at ang ROTC, yung pagkaintindi namin ng araw, you spend 2 years basic training. Every Friday or every Saturday, you go to school and you practice drill. Sometimes you're allowed to fire, wala kang live fire. And you have tactical officers. That was the time, during time. If we're talking about that, then you're just repeating what was before. Now, if you're talking about the Constitution, on the matter that every citizen ay dapat maghanda to defend the country, iba yan. Are we talking about a Korea, a Singapore, whereas where young people can be conscripted and serve 2 years, as in Israel or in Korea or in Singapore. But if we're thinking of training for the sake of training, sa tingin ko, I think yung nationalism cannot be force-fed eh. Nasa Department of Education yan eh, nasa pamilya yan eh, na talagang sinasabi natin, there is service to country. But when you start doing ROTC, Mr. Chairman, dapat talagang seryoso. Are we going to teach them, anong objective natin? Para naman pagka may giyera, meron tayong grupo na pwedeng tawagin na marunong na mag-drill, marunong na magmarcha, marunong humawak ng baril. Kung yun ang objective natin. And right now, the prevailing winds are very reactionary. Nagagalit yung iba, ayaw ng ROTC dahil nung araw may mga namatay. So nag-react. Sinara yung ROTC. Dahil may mga pinatay, may mga hazing. I think that's a knee-jerk response. And I think we're going into that again. Magni-knee-jerk na naman tayo rito na ayaw natin yung ROTC because meron ganon. Pero ang purpose natin, unang-una, ilagay natin sa saligang batas. To defend the country. Meron tayong source. Yung sinasabi nyo, kahit na wala namang ROTC, alam natin pagka may ID system na tayo, alam na natin kung sinong over 18, tatawagin natin yan eh. If you go back to history, Mr. Chairman, during World War II, before World War II, Quezon, upon the advice of MacArthur, saw that there was going to be a war with Japan. So ginawa nila yung National Defense Act at nagkaroon ng ROTC, which formed the basis of yung mga hunters, guerrillas, no? Yung iba naman, walang ROTC training, umakyat rin sa bundok at lumaban. Now, kung ang purpose natin dito, may problema tayong parating na nakikita natin, then dapat talaga, lagyan natin ng pera yung training ng ROTC at yung budget talaga, huwag natin pipigilan yan. Dahil hindi naman natin pwedeng itapon yung mga bata doon na walang kaalam-alam sa training sa ROTC. How to follow commands, how to do skirmishes left, skirmishes right, o yung mga position, yung tactical. So, as far as I know, dapat alamin natin kung anong vision natin. Yung PMT, dati-dati, preparatory military training yan. Third year, fourth year high school. We pay for our own uniforms, gano'n rin sa ROTC, pero again, drill. Natingin ko, pagdating ng ROTC, you are taught to drill. Sometimes you were brought to Nichols because we were Air Force or Basa Air Base, and we trained over the weekend doon sa Basa Air Base. And learn how to do it. ROTC in America is different, Mr. President. ROTC is the Reserve Officer Training Course. It is an opportunity for somebody who wants to get an education, kukuha siya ng ROTC para maging officer siya eventually. That's how Colin Powell became Chief of Staff. Nag-ROTC yan. Sa atin, yung mga nag-ROTC sa atin, sila Fabian Ver, sila General Santos, Rigoberto Atienza, General Espino, they're all products of ROTC natin. Ang ROTC natin, iba, nag-training sila. And then they really became ROTC. Pagkatapos ng 2-year basic course, they had what they called 2 more courses called probationary training. To become a probationary officer, you actually train 3rd year, 4th year, and then when you graduate, you're brought to camp and you train maybe about 6 months or even a year, and then you get a commission right away. Where are we going with this bill? yung bill ko, tinawag ko Citizens Service Act. Para sa ganon, kung may magkakaroon tayo ng giyera, may nalalaman na yung tao, yung mga tao natin. Hindi yung nangangapa tayo, yung tatawag ng... that is a very real threat, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, na maaring mangyari, and we cannot take it for granted na let us say China decides to attack Taiwan. Doon ba lang tayo maghahanda? Or for that matter, our ship is sunk, and then doon ba lang tayo maghahanda? At the same time, Mr. Chairman, yung ROTC natin dito dati, ginagamit yan sa elections, tigabantay, ng araw. Ginagamit yan, magkamisan, pagka may disaster. Well and good, Mr. President. But the real core of the National Defense Act, which envisioned an ROTC program, which I thought was a misnomer, was to train yung mga bata para kung magkagera, madaling tawagin, may training na sila, madaling mag-form ng mga units, at makakalabang kaagad o makakatulong sa bayan natin. So the long and the short of what I'm trying to say, Mr. President, is it vision. Kung ang ROTC program na gagawin natin, sabihin natin, magiging force multiplier yan pagka may gera, fine, well and good. Kung sasabihin natin, ang ROTC para lang matuto, well and good. Pagagamit natin sa disaster or whatever, no? Elections ko, no? But, again, sinasabi ko lang po dito, ay kailangan ibalik yan because nakalimutan na ng tao na dapat meron tayong investment sa bayan. In fact, I would most favor an ROTC training program where we provide scholarships for officers. No? Talagang pag nag-ROTC ka, mag-aaral ka, pag-graduate mo, magiging officer ka sa military. Pero kung ang objective naman natin dito ay matrain, then sufficient na yung 2-year program natin na mag-aral sila mag-march, konting shooting sa kwan. Pero I'll tell you, even during our time, we never were even able to fire because walang budget palagi. Walang bala. Meron kaming mga siyang battle at over and above everything else. Wala talagang, hindi seryoso. So, at tapos talagang may corruption. Yung mga mayayaman, yung tactical officer, bibigyan ng whiskey, bibigyan ng konting pabuya, kakaroon na sila ng health problem, hindi na sila magte-training. It became even a source of graft. So, what we do here, Mr. Chairman, will dictate the kind of quality of citizens we're going to have. I once was in Singapore and having dinner with a member of parliament, and there was a young man there with us. And he was serving food along with his sister. Pagdating ng alas 11, sabi niya, may I have your permission to withdraw, sir? Sabi niya, why? I have to go to the base. I'm a citizen soldier. I'm doing my time. You go to Israel, you see women carrying M16s, even US carbines, which was used in World War II. Everybody has to train because iba ang sitwasyon ng Israel, malapit sila sa giyera. Sa Singapore, maliit silang bayan, kailangan may training, maliit pa sila. Korea, they have to train 2 years. Why? Meron silang kating bayan na North Korea. Tayo ngayon, may problema. If we think it's sufficient na kailangan talaga mag-training tayo, it is well within the national interest na talagang maghanda ang mga bata rito at mag-train. Train officers and at least do sa ROTC basic course, 2 taon. I was asking my friends here, Vanguard, mga katabi ko, ako ROTC lang sa Ateneo, sabi niya that all of us can be perfect. Sabi ko naman sa kanila, but how many Vanguards do you have as senator? Wala naman, no? So, madali sabihin niya, pero sila, may mga Vanguard, no? ROTC officer din tayo eh. But that's not the point. The point, Mr. President, ano ba ang gusto natin para sa bayan natin? If we need to really train, kung ako tatanungin nyo, I heard my father and Senator Jokno once talking in our living room. Sabi niya, alam mo, Jimmy, sabi niya sa tatay ko, kung itong mga anak natin, talagang magsusundalo yan o kaya magte-training sila, madadraft sila, o kaya magsisilbi sa bayan. Wala tayong problema because equalization yan eh. Pag nasa military ka, walang mayaman, walang mahirap, pareho tutulugan nyo sa barracks eh. Pareho kakainin ninyo. And in this particular instance, kung naintindihan natin, sabi ko nga palagi, it's better to know where we're going and not know how than to know how we're going and not know where. If we want to prepare our citizenry for a possible external threat, then by all means, let us use the ROTC as scholarship program. Let us use the ROTC basic program, 1-2 years, nagdi-drill yung mga bata para hindi na sila mahihirapan kagad, mas mabilis tayo mag-mobilize. And to me, that is the point. And we must give a budget for this. Kung lukuhan lang at walang budget, naku po, nung araw po kami nagbabayad ng ROTC, yung uniform namin, PMT, ROTC. We even designed the kind of, we were very proud to have a Class A uniform, to have a lanyard in our Class B uniform. In Ateneo, and gano'n rin sa Vanguard. And we used to go to PMA and debated with the PMA cadets. And at one time during the Cuban crisis, the Ateneo, we were going to to PMA for the annual debate. Dumaan kami sa Clark, and this was the Cuban crisis, and we were brought to real planes, F-102 Delta. Nandun ako dun sa loob ng canopy, biglang tumawag yung klaxon. I had to jump from the klaxon because everybody was rushing towards their plane because there was a threat that was detected. I thought that was serious enough. That was the nearest thing I thought that we had for a serious exposure to the military. But there is nothing wrong with the military tradition. Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, look at other countries. The military is a source of good leadership, especially in defending our country. They don't necessarily have to be drafted into the cabinet, all of them at the same time. Maybe you should give them time na mag-involve muna sa civilian, tapos kunin natin sila sa cabinet, but not right after retirement. But that's another topic. And the point I just want to make is this, Mr. President. General Marshall was not in the military academy of the West Point. He was in BMI. And yet he rose to become a diplomat soldier. Colin Powell, all these other people, they were all ROTC. No? And you had an Audie Murphy, who was one of the most decorated soldiers in World War II. Some of us probably remember his movie, Padre Tabora is there, To Hell and Back. He was a very, very poor Texan who had to fend for his... he joined without having training, and he had to go to boot camp. And he was, they called him a shrimp because he was so short. And yet he fought for his country. So yung sinasabi niyo, love of country, sa Amerika, matindi yan because every generation has gone to war since the Civil War or even as far as the Revolution. And that's why you have flags outside their homes. A veteran lives here. Now, to my mind, Mr. President, as we discuss this, I just thought I'd give this background. I hope it's useful. Para sa ganon, we know where to go. We know where to handle it. Ang suggestion ko, i-separate yung citizens military service. At saka yung ROTC. Yung ROTC, make it professionalized. They want to be they want to get an education, they want to have a career in the military, they cannot make it to the PMA. Have them get a scholarship provided for by the university or by the government. If they want to know how to drill, know how to handle a firearm, know how basic tactics, they should do that. And so my suggestion here, Mr. President, is we have all these resource persons. Siguro mag-usap-usap muna. Segregate natin. Ano ba ang pakay natin? Kung patriotism, too late na yan. Too late na inculcate yan. Because, sabi nyo, number 19 ang patriotism. My gosh, I mean, that means that the educational system has really failed miserably. I mean, we are taught to love our country. Kunyari, meron pa tayong panunumpa sa watawat, meron pa tayong flag ceremony. Every day, even in the Senate, lalagay pa natin yung kamay natin sa dibdib natin. I don't know whether we really love our country or we just want to claim that we love our country, but we really love ourselves more. And that is why ROTC is important. It puts them outside the circle of self it puts them into a situation where I want to choose whether I can serve my country in time of war, in time of disasters, in time of exercises in democracy. I want to be able to know where I will fit, and ROTC should be a good fit there. But before we do that, we must have the budget, and there is money. And I'm willing to support that, same way I support a strong military. At the same time, kung sila ay magkakaroon ng budget, eh, kailangan the best yung hahawak ng mga bata, hindi yung tapon mo na lang yan dyan, magturo sa ROTC. Because sisirain lang ang bata niyan, lalo pa magkakaroon ng problema tayo. Pagka naglagay kayo ng marunong lang magmura ng tactical officer, kung ano sila sabi sa mga bata, wala yan. And then third, if you're afraid of hazing, punish the hazers. We now have a law on hazing. Punish the school if they're not supervising them well. The school represents sub loco parentis in place of the parent. So kung hindi nila masiguro na yung kanilang coordinator doon sa ROTC ay hindi makokontrol, then they must be made aware that they will be punished, that there will be fines to pay. But do not eliminate it just because somebody died. I belong to a fraternity, and you know, there are good members of the fraternity and there are bad members, and you'll be doing us a favor if you kick bad members of the fraternity. You kick them out. But the essence is what we're really talking about, Mr. President, here. You can talk about everything here, but to me, kung tayo ay puntahan yung Batanes, imagine, Mr. President, Batanes is an island, northernmost. I have some questions there with our military. Meron tayong barko na galing sa Indonesia, ginawa. Eh, sabi, nawawala na rin ang pagkain doon. Eh, pwede natin dalhin yung mga ROTC students natin niya, isa kanyo sa barko, dalhin nyo doon sa Batanes, and that's exposure. Di ba? But right now, we don't even bring the ship there, and then the headlines say, they need money, they need water. Then, you know, I don't want to carry my own bench here, but I will. The Red Cross is there giving water. We produce our own water, we produce our own food. The Red Cross is having tents all over the country now, and nobody tells us. Many of the things I'm doing now, I learned from commanding as an ROTC officer. How to make people move, how to motivate them. Those are the things you don't talk about here. If you're in the ROTC, you learn how to obey commands. And you learn that there's an order. Kung ikaw binabastos ng officer mo, you can complain to the chain of command. But you know, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, if we're getting lost in the details, na going to the negatives, we are here to create good law. Everybody knows you're not going to get 15-year-old to fight. 18-year-olds, yes. Even in the Red Cross, I'm told, you cannot allow them to fight because you're not allowed to have child soldiers. They do that in Africa, they do it elsewhere. But the point here is this. Is the Korean young man better than the Filipino? You know, there's an article going around, you Filipinos love your country, sabi ng Koreano. But we clean up every day. We were made to clean up by Park Chung-hee, and we were made to fight also. And do you remember, Mr. Chairman, we sent troops to Korea, and they respected us until now. Conrado Yap, Bonnie Serrano, these are people who went to Korea and died in Korea. I don't know if they're PMA, I don't know what they're. It doesn't matter. Blood is red, and it doesn't say you're from Ateneo, UP, or FPU, or whatever, or PMA. It just says you are properly motivated and you are a leader, Mr. Chairman. So having said all that, Mr. Chairman, I know I said a mouthful. I plea to the chair to really, to all of us here as senators, to really look at the overview of the matter. If we want citizen service, we need that. We need to give time. I even say 6 weeks in a year. You know? Every weekend for the next, until you make 6 weeks, you train, you march, etc., etc. Hindi katulad nila every Sunday, galit ka pa pag pupunta ka on a Sunday or Saturday. Pero kung talagang alam mo, this weekend, that's ROTC duty, then I think they will learn more and they will learn to appreciate more. But insofar as soldiering is concerned, let's go to ROTC as a scholarship program. That is where we get future officers That's where the military, who needs more officers, the PMA cannot supply all these officers. That's where we get officers, and we put money into a scholarship program, and we will get good officers. And let us train them, really train them, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, the last thing I want to say is this. If we teach our children to love our country, which you cannot teach at this age actually, they have to experience it. If they're exposed to the military, if part of the training says, alam nyo, pinagtatawanan tayo eh. Wala tayong submarines. Noong araw, meron tayong F-86, nagpunta pa sa Congo. Ngayon, wala. Wala tayo. If you are immersed in the military, you will know what the military needs. You will know what our soldiers need. You will know that it's not just boots. They will know they need tanks, they need a kind of strategy and tactics that you will have. And to my mind, the ROTC here will be a great motivator, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. I know the chairman likes to be called Mr. President, but that's why I keep referring to him as Mr. President. The Commander-in-Chief. But Mr. Chairman, I would like to say here na for all those things and many more, and I don't want to hug the microphone here, I think we should really try to reorient the debate and put that if we want a backbone, citizen soldiers, train them now. If we want officers, do so. If we want a backbone for disasters or for elections or for whatever, do that now. But let us be serious. Let's put our money where our mouth is. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Gordon.
Mr. Chairman, in my prefatory remarks, I said ROTC ay investment. Investment ng gobyerno, investment ng bansa, investment ng pamilya, investment ng tao yan. Because kung ikaw ROTC officer ka, pag nag-apply ka sa trabaho, sabi mo, ROTC officer ako eh. Lamang ka sa trabaho dyan. Pangalawa, tayo mga Pilipino, alam ko, naintindihan ko yung mga ibig sinasabi kasi tayo nasasanay na we are pampered by our government. Lahat binibigay na sa atin eh. 4Ps, and dahil. Kailangan may tungkulin naman tayo. I will give you an example. Pagdating sa mga drum and lyre corps, lahat ng eskwela may drum and lyre. Naku po, talagang kung todo makeup, kung todo uniforme, kung may kending, bumibili ng mga batingting, mga kuno na, di ba? Hindi ko nasabi ko lang yun para magising kayong lahat. Anyway, but to my mind, Mr. President, this is a need. So, ang suggestion ko, we don't have to do it all at the same time. We can do ROTC as a scholarship program muna, or we can start doing it on selected areas muna para we learn how to do it. Hindi na pilot, yung mga, we can do that. Kung kulang sa budget, then let's do that. Pero yung kulang na yun, dapat sagad. Para pag nakita ng tao, may kinalalabasan, hindi magagalit ang tao dyan. Because, siyempre, lalo na, ako nung araw, when I was in the ROTC, when my father saw me, he never encouraged me to do it. But when he saw me that I was an officer, I knew he was proud. My mother was proud. They were both high school graduates, but wow, gusto nila, naka-uniform yung anak nila ngayon na ganyan, no? But it's not the uniform that they like. It's the fact that I volunteered. I went the extra way and the extra lap to improve myself, to improve my personality as a leader. And that's what I'm trying to say. ROTC, the military, lahat yan, there are ways to improve our character. And if we do it right, we'll have a better country, Mr. President. Kaya dapat huwag natin biglayan. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Gordon. And again, we go through our resource persons one by one. Commodore Enriquez, meron mo pa yung, aside from what you said earlier, do you have any more comments?
May I just, Mr. Chairman, answer the query of the MPSC, of the PTA?
Just a few remarks, Mr. Chairman. Number one, on the matter of athletes, Joe Louis, Elvis Presley, Henry Kissinger, they were all privates. Became sergeants later on and became Secretary of State later on. So they really show no. Anyway, when there's a war, you get everybody that you can get, and they're enlisted men. So that's not the problem. Secondly, I just want to point out that we're talking here not of quantity but of quality. In the past, it was quantity. You had all kinds of training sa ROTC, pero it was a joke. A lot of them did not consider it serious stuff, except before World War II. Many of the people who died in Bataan or who fought in Bataan were ROTC products. Terry Adivoso. You have a lot of people, Burgos, Teres Burgos, if I'm not mistaken, his family name is, I was with him in the Ateneo alumni, he was also from Lasal. He fought in Bataan, suffered privation. Alfredo Teres Burgos, I'm sorry. So you have quite a few people who fought. You know, Marking was not an ROTC, but they fought. Point is, when there is a war, duty first must come in, and that's why the Constitution provides that. We're not asking for policemen here. I would object to it if you're going to ask for policemen. Because President Duterte just announced he's hiring 37,000 policemen more. And you're going to put up 100 million for facilities of the police. What we need is for external defense. And they must have the training required. And some of the things that Senator Cayetano said, you know, you could even, depending on their skills, you can spot where you can actually put them in terms of more specific rifle shooting, their training. Medicine, you know, cyber, for those who are involved in information technology. Those are things, but that's really, really down the line. The preliminary thing is to get basic training, discipline. You know, they must learn that. And to my mind, the best example is Israel. I'm not going to even mention Singapore. You know, Singapore prides itself as being the Israel row of Southeast Asia with a population so little. Israel has, the time, had a very few population, about 900,000 people, I think, when they got their independence. And they start fighting right away. No time for training, practically. They had a ragtag Air Force, which they got from Czechoslovakia. They used Messerschmitt planes from the Nazi Germany, and they fought, and they made it happen. And through the years, Israel has become a power in its own right, even has nuclear capability. They don't wait until they have all the money. They don't wait until everything is perfect. They require women. I was there. I got good-looking women, college women who were there carrying M16s along with their classmates. I'm also referring also to college, not high school. Let the guys finish high school. But when you come to closer to 18 years old,